Hello and welcome to this introductory case study in this course AI for Verbal and Non-Verbal Communication Excellence. So here we have a case study of using AI to build verbal excellence in verbal and non-verbal communication. And this is a case study about a person who is technically strong professionally but with weak communication skills who used AI as a coach, mentor, and practice partner to improve both what he says and how he says it. Right. So let's take a look at that. So this is the case of Ravi Nair, a senior data analyst in a global company, has strong analytical skills, very strong, has deep knowledge of data and tools, but at the same time, his explanations are long, scattered, and full of jargon. Speaks too fast when nervous, has minimal eye contact, close body postures in meetings, and in his presentation, people often whisper, I don't understand what is he saying, but I'm sure it is important. And that has impacted his career. He's been passed over twice for promotion to analytics lead, and the feedback from his manager is that you are brilliant, Ravi, but leadership roles need someone who can explain clearly, influence people, and read the room. Right. As a result, Ravi has realized that his technical strength aren't enough anymore. If he doesn't fix his communication, he will stay stuck. So let's take a look at this challenge a little deeper. So Ravi knew that he was not a people's person. He gets nervous and then he talks too much. He doesn't notice how he's sitting and how his face shows, and but he wants to get his content right. And he has tried doing few things like watching TED talks, reading books on body language, practicing in front of the mirror, but nothing has stuck. In real meetings, his mind stays focused on content and he forgets delivery. And he has no honest, detailed feedback loop for him to learn and improve. So the turning point. How did he turn his weakness into an structured experiment? It happened that his company rolled out AI tools for employees that included video feedback tools and AI assistants. And he thought, what if I treat AI as a communication lab and personal coach? And he talked to himself saying, I need something that I can watch, analyze, and help me practice. Right. So Ravi set up a clear 90-day goal, right? In 3 months, he said, I want to run a clear, engaging 10-minute presentation, speak in concise messages in meetings, show confident, open body language, and get feedback from my manager that my communication has improved. He didn't want vague improvements. He wanted visible changes, right? That was the turning point. So step one, he used AI as a mirror and there he focused on getting brutally honest feedback. He recorded himself giving a 5 minute explanation of a recent analytics project, and then he uploaded the video into an AI powered communication coach and asked it to analyze his talk and give him feedback on clarity, structure, jargons, complexity, filler words, space, tone, and confidence, and also ask it to list the non-verbal issues based on the transcript and response. AI highlighted both verbal and non-verbal communication, and it says long and complex sentences, too many technical terms, no clear structure, many fillers, right? And on non-verbal, it says you are talking in straight, flat tone, very few pauses, sounded rushed, and you are likely minimally using the gestures and facial expression. Ravi felt a little embarrassed, like any of us, but also felt relieved. He said to himself, at least I know exactly what is wrong. Next step, he used AI to restructure his verbal communication. He picked up one real upcoming, scenario of explaining a new dashboard to business leader, and he wrote his explanations in his usual style, right? And then he asked AI to rewrite this explanation for non-technical uh, business leaders in terms of simple language, starting with why in key messages, limiting to 3 points, and ending with a clear call to action. Now, AI produced a lighter, simpler version. And then he compared the two and realized that he started with details, not the big picture. He never clearly said what they should do with this information. And then he asked AI to turn into a, three-part verbal structure that he can memorize in terms of opening, main message, and clear closing. And I asked AI to keep it conversational. Now AI gave him a script like that, right? That had an opening, three key messages, and a closing. And he practiced then this shorter, sharper script aloud. And what he learned in the entire process was that excellence in verbal communication starts with simple structure and clear messages, not just talking more confidently. So that's how he started using AI to restructure his verbal communication. Ravi still spoke too fast and monotonously. He realized that. He recorded his new script and again asked AI coach to analyze his speaking uh, pace, pauses, tones, and asked him to feedback on words per minute, where he should pause, where he should emphasize certain words, and asked him to modify his script to mark pauses in terms of slashes and emphasis in caps. Now, AI gave him the feedback that your words per pace is about 190 words per minute, and which is versus it's too fast versus ideal of 130 to 150. There are few natural pauses, and it suggested a new version, marked version that you see here. Ravi now had a visual guide where to pause and emphasize, a clear, actionable vocal coaching without needing a human trainer. He practiced reading it aloud, right? Slower pace, intentional pauses, and he re-recorded and showed it to AI. And AI showed that now pace improved to 150 to 160, pauses were more frequent and natural, and for the first time, AI felt the difference. Now he started using, AI guided role play for non-verbal communication. He had certain habits like hunched shoulder, minimal gestures, looking at slides more than the people. And he used the video based AI coach that could detect these things like eye contact, head position, postures, and use of gestures. And he recorded a mock meeting scenario in which he was to explain to his manager and a skeptical colleague why a certain insight is important. And after uploading, he got feedback that you look down at your notes 70% of the time, and your body language is leaning back away from the camera and which can be read as disengaged. The gestures are minimal, and you need to consider using hands for emphasizing main points. Then after that, he asked, based on these versions, can you give me three simple body language rules to follow and a simple checklist? And AI suggested a simple rule set of, eyes 80 to 90% of the time they should be on people, not on slides or notes. And the posture you should be standing or sitting tall with both feet grounded, shoulders open, and you should use hand gestures naturally on key points. And and they gave it this prepared a pre-meeting checklist which said to keep shoulders down and back, chin parallel to the floor, hands visible, not hidden under the table, and first 10 seconds look around the room, not at the table. And he stuck these near his monitor to practice. Ravi knew things won't happen and won't change unless he does what is he called micro practices in real meetings. So for each important meeting, he spent 10 minutes with AI clarifying his message, uh, planning one strong opening line and predicting tough questions. And he went into meetings with clear on his core message, prepared for difficult questions, and less sanctions, which meant better nonverbal signals. And after the meeting, he jotted points and asked AI the questions, and AI gave him alternate phrasing of what he wanted to do, which he added to his communication playbook. He started building a personal AI communication lab routine to ensure consistent, lasting improvement. Created four-part weekly routine, and one He did for 15 to 20 minutes one video review where he recorded a short talk, get AI feedback on got AI feedback on the verbal and non-verbal, focused on one thing to improve. The second he did was one story practice where he chose a recent project, asked AI to help him turn into uh, a 60-second story using situation action result and practice, saying it allowed with good body language. Then he did one vocabulary and tone upgrade for 10 minutes, in which he pasted an email or message he wrote and asked AI to rewrite this. And he studied the changes. And then he did one reflection for 5 to 10 minutes of thinking a conversation that went bad recently, described it to AI and asked what might be the other person have felt or interpreted from my words and body language, and asked it to suggest better words and non-verbal cues for the next time. This rhythm made continuous improvement, not one off. So, what was the outcome? From hard to follow, he became clear and confident. In his next quarterly town hall, Ravi was asked to present a 10 minutes summary to a major analytics client, to an audience including senior leaders from multiple countries. He used his AI learned approach with clear opening. He said, I want to show you how we reduce churn risk by 18% using a very simple hidden insight in our data. He used simple structure, intentional pauses and emphasis, and open postures, steady eye contact, and natural gestures. Now, afterwards, his manager said, that was the clearest I ever heard you. You sounded confident and made complex data feel simple. In his next performance review, the feedback was much positive, saying there is a significant improvement in communication and he's able to influence stakeholders much better. And he was promoted to analytics lead so far that he was missing. And Ravi reflected that AI did not magically fix my personality. It gave me a mirror, practice field, and concrete feedback. And as I showed up consistently, that is what created the excellence. Right. So let's look at this framework quickly. So it's a framework that you are familiar with this of assessing and acknowledging, improving structure and message, shaping voice and pauses, polishing body language, experimenting in real message, anchoring weekly practice, and keeping a playbook by focusing on few things that you see here and using AI to play its role. So what's the final takeaway? Now, excellence in verbal and non-verbal communication isn't about being naturally charismatic. It's about deliberate practice, clear message, and simple structure, all of which AI can dramatically accelerate. As an individual, you can use AI to see what others don't see, simplify and structure your message, train your voice in terms of pace, tone, pauses, design better body language in terms of with checklist and video reviews, and practice real scenarios through presentation, tough conversations and Q&As, and build personal communication playbook over time to reach that level of excellence. So what do we do next? What else? We start with now taking an overview of how to use AI for verbal and non-verbal communication in the next set of lectures. So thank you so much for watching this introductory case study. I hope you're continuing to learn new things, you're continuing to enjoy, and I do look forward to see you again in the next lecture. Please feel free to message me if you have any questions. I'll be happy to answer your questions, and do download the PDF file to take a look at anything that you need to.